My speech is going to be about the dangers of e-cigarette use, otherwise known as vapes. It's my little meme. My definitions, mainly going to be talking about nicotine, a colorless, oilless, water-soluble, highly toxic liquid alkaloid found in tobacco and valued as an insecticide. E-cigarettes, also known as vape pens, e-cigars, or vaping devices, they are electronic nicotine delivery systems, which gives an aerosolized mixture containing flavored liquids and nicotine that is inhaled by the users. Cardiovascular disease are conditions of the heart, including structural and functional abnormalities, and neurotransmitter is a substance in the brain that transmits nerve impulses across the synapses. Some background info is that these e-cigarettes are composed of rechargeable lithium batteries, vaporization chambers, and a cartridge. They emit considerable levels of toxicants such as nicotine, volatile organic compounds, and carbonyls. Another little fun fact about the e-cigarette brands is that sometimes they inaccurately label like the nicotine concentrations. There's just a little picture up here to show you how the device works. So it'll start with the LED at the bottom, which tells you when you're using the device, and then it goes up to the battery, the microprocessor, which is the part that heats up or controls like the heating up, and then the cartridge and sensor. What is nicotine and why is it addictive? Nicotine is a plant alkaloid, which means that it's a naturally occurring chemical that contains nitrogen. It's a highly addictive stimulant, and it's a major component in smoking products. It's the most harmful component, which causes cardiovascular disease, also known as CVD, and atherosclerosis, which is a disease of the arteries characterized by the deposition of fatty material on the inner wall. So basically that means that it's just plaque building up on those inner walls that clog your arteries. Why it's addictive? Like I said, the main component of an e-cigarette or vape is nicotine and e-liquid. It's a well-understood compound with known central and peripheral nervous system effects, which I'll get into with the health risks. That's what causes the dependence and addiction. It's also absorbed into your bloodstream and affects the relationship between neurotransmitters and receptors in your brain, which play an important part in your memory, cognition, muscle contraction, etc. When using devices as such, it may cause dizziness, sore throat, and dry mouth. Otherwise, you can get what they call quote-unquote buzz. Health risks of vaping. So one big thing is nicotine poisoning, which can cause high blood pressure, skin-related problems, and addictions. It's widely known to cause respiratory diseases, cancer, cardiovascular disease, oral diseases, injuries, poisonings, and even maternal and fetal outcomes. If used during adolescence, it might have lasting adverse consequences for brain development. Exposure to nicotine is likely to elevate the CVD risk in people with pre-existing CVD, but people without CVD is uncertain. 40% of smokers suffer from CVD. I also thought there was another fun fact that I read in one of the articles that nicotine, as it's like one of the most harmful substances, is also related to street drugs. Vaping use statistics. These are some statistics that I got from an article where they did a questionnaire-based study group upon 100 young adults. 74% of the young adults were aware that they of e-cigarettes. 26% were not. This is for the participants how the highest of the smokers were male. This is another survey on why people chose e-cigarette products over other products. 48% was due to addiction, 20% was due to safety, 13% and 20% was because of the variety of flavors. Are you aware that your body intakes nicotine from e-cigarettes? 53% said no, and 48% said yes. Are you aware of e-cigarettes and its adverse effects? 51% said yes, and 50% said no. So it's kind of like a 50-50 situation. How often do you smoke? People, 27% said once in a day, twice a day was 33%, and once in a week was 41%. Do you know nicotine is the harmful component in e-cigarettes, which causes CVD or atherosclerosis? 58% said yes, and 43% said no. Do you know nicotine is the harmful component in e-cigarette, which causes CVD or atherosclerosis? 58% said yes, 43% said no. In conclusion, vaping is addictive due to the main components, nicotine, which is a liquid alkaloid, and flavors, e-liquid. Nicotine is a major constituent in smoking products, which can cause cardiovascular disease, along with other major short or long-term effects such as respiratory diseases, cancer, etc.